This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with Expansions.com, another edition of Cooking with Janet. Today I am going to let you participate in one of my cooking experiments. I am going to try fermenting some pickles. Now, you have all seen me do the fermented vegetables where I shred it and do it with ferment it with the sea salt, good quality sea salt. Today I'm going to try a new recipe. I've already gone ahead and put my pickling cucumbers in the jars, which have already been washed and cleaned. And from there, I am going to put in some dill. Now this is fresh organic dill, which I had in the freezer. You can freeze it. And then I just cut it into pieces, and I'm going to put a little bit of this in each of the jars. And I'm just going to use all this up because I do like dill. Right? And I have also some heads of garlic that I'm going to put garlic cloves in here, and I did about 4 heads of garlic because I like it. And I'm going to enjoy eating it. Now, if you want to just have a little bit for seasoning and not necessarily to eat it, then you may just put in 1 or 2 cloves, but I intend on eating it. So I'll put that in. And also I'm going to cut up some organic onion, which is going to go in for seasoning. And of course, that's going to be delicious to eat as well. So that goes in my jar. And more here. And you can put them in any order that you want. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and if I had some fresh hot pepper, I would put that in too because I like spicy, but I don't, so I have some organic pepper seeds. So I'm going to put that in each jar to give it some spice. So you can kind of concoct your own mixes. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of black pepper, organic black pepper, and put that in for some seasoning. And see how simple we're going to make all this happen. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually make the sea salt bath that we're going to pour into these jars. So I have a half a cup of sea salt. Now I want you to take a look at this sea salt. This is Gris, G-R-I-S, Gris. This is a different quality than what we use on our cooking salt, which is the fleur de sel. You can see how white that is compared to this one. And also this is much coarser. And in Europe, they usually use a cooking salt and a table salt. So for this particular recipe, we're going to use our cooking salt. So usually a little bit less expensive, and it does the job. I'm using 1 tablespoon per cup of water, and I'm going to, I think 8 cups should be more than enough. So I'm going to put in 8 cups of warm water into my measuring bowl. Okay, and I have 8 tablespoons, or a half a cup, of the sea salt, which is going to go in here. And I'm going to stir that up. Now again, I haven't tried this before. I've done regular fermenting where I shred the vegetables. Now I'm going to try my luck at pickles. Now, if you happen to have grape leaves or oak leaves, be sure you wash everything, of course, well in the hydrogen peroxide bath, like I've shown you many times. My understanding is that grape leaves and oak leaves have a lot of tannin in them, and the tannin helps preserve the crunchiness. I am going to do mine without that, and I will see if I have delicious crunchy pickles when I'm all done. So once this is dissolved, very, very easy. All I'm going to do is fill up my jars with the salt. So here we go. cover it so all the way to the top. It looks like I'm going to need a little bit more water. So I'm going to set this aside and I will do that later because I want to go ahead and show you how to finish this off. Now you'll see that some of the vegetables are floating and we want to cover it and weight it down just like that we do with the shredded vegetables. So I'm going to take a baggie and I have just some regular water. I'm going to put that in here, enough, so when I put it on top, so that's going to come over the top, okay. We want to seal that top up is basically what we're doing. So I'm just going to close it. And make sure that nothing is exposed, all right? I'm going to do the same thing to the other 3 jars. Then I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to cover it and I'm going to set it in a space on my countertop that's not in use. And then I will check that in about 3 to 4 weeks and hopefully we have pickles. So that's what I have to show you. That's easy to do. Let's find out if we have a winner recipe when we unveil it. And we'll take a look in 3 to 4 weeks and see what happens. Okay, you might remember that last time that we spoke, I showed you how to put the fermented pickles together, and I told you it was going to take 3 or 4 weeks. So now that 3 or 4 weeks has passed, I actually stored these up in my father's kitchen because they take up a lot of counter space, and plus there is a certain little smell, which I don't mind, some people do. So I covered the jars up, so let's look and see how the pickles turn out. This is my experiment. And I've done a little research and I found some things out. So as you remember, I filled them up with the brine and then I put these on top to help hold it down. And I see I'm going to take some of this off the top, even though it's good. Let's look. Let's see. Here's one that's still filled with liquid, it looks like. Yep. This is the way I would prefer to have it look. And I put in the onion. Let me see how that tastes. This is fermented. Nice and crunchy, delicious. And there's the garlic. And then we have the pickle. So what I saw online, since I did this experiment, was somebody had put cheesecloth over the top. And then they put a piece of wax paper, I think it was, over the top. And then they put the jar lid on. So let's cut this open. Oh yeah, nice. Okay. So I don't know if these cucumbers were hollow to start with. Not a clue, but let's see if it's crunchy. Yep, it's crunchy, it's delicious. So, I definitely will do these again. And I also saw online where you could do this with other vegetables. Green beans, asparagus, you name it. You have seen me do this with the shredded. And now I'm going to do this with a whole. I also want to try some zucchini. I think would be really good in there. You could probably, you know, I'm not really a big mushroom fan, but you could put mushrooms in there. But I would suggest that you make sure, if I would have seen this, I would have come up and filled it with some more water. So I'm going to clean off around here, and I will use this because underneath is good. And this is all the good bacteria. So anyway, kind of a short program, but I think an interesting one and worth your time. And mine too. And we'll continue working with our fermentation. I also have a recipe for fermenting hot chilies to make hot sauce, which we eat a lot of. It's very good for your metabolism. So as soon as the peppers are on, I'm going to be experimenting with that. And I have lots of things in my mind to experiment with. And as you see, this experiment took me 3 or 4 weeks to do, even though I filmed it, 2 different times, so that you could kind of see it without you having to wait for that lag time. I had to wait for the lag time. I appreciate that you join me. I do hope that you are working on some of these recipes. I know several of you write in on the blog or on the home page that you're working on these. If you have interesting things that you're doing that you think I need to know about, let me know. It's all about sharing, and remember, the food that goes into your body is representative of the food that's going into your mind. So join me again on another show of Cooking with Janet the next time that I have something interesting to share with you. It will be out there for you to see. Take care. Bye-bye.